I found her ring on the bathroom counter before the sun had even risen, not in its box where it belonged, not on her finger where it always had been, but just there, cold, metallic, accusatory, like a secret deliberately left behind. My stomach sank as I traced the circular mark in the polished marble, my chest tightening so sharply I could barely draw breath. I didn't need to interpret the message. It was obvious. She wasn't simply away on a girls' trip. She was somewhere else entirely, and I was the only one left behind. I had woken to the soft early morning light and reached for her beside me, expecting warmth, maybe even a smile. Instead, my hand met empty sheets, a void that mirrored the pit growing in my stomach. The faint scent of her perfume lingered, sweet and floral, but now tinged with betrayal. And there it was in the bathroom, her wedding ring, the symbol of our promises, our love, our loyalty, abandoned like an object she no longer valued. I had never experienced stillness like this before. My mind spun, searching for some explanation that simply didn't exist. I picked up the ring, rolling it between my fingers, remembering the day we bought it. A small, modest band, nothing extravagant, yet perfect in our eyes. I remembered our whispered promises in the jewelry store, the soft vows under the chapel lights. And now it was just a cold circle on marble, her last gesture left behind. Her phone pinged across the room. Girls' trip? Don't wait up. Be grateful. I even checked in. Grateful. That's what she expected me to feel. Grateful that she deigned to keep me informed while she did whatever she was doing. I laughed, bitterly, sharply, and startled myself. Grateful? For what? For choosing a weekend of lies over the life we had built together? I sat on the edge of the bed, the ring heavy in my palm, and let my mind wander through everything we'd shared. The late nights planning vacations, laughter echoing through our apartment, quiet Sunday mornings sipping coffee in pajamas. Had it all been real, or had it only seemed real to make leaving easier? Her friends' group chat was full of pictures, smiling selfies, raised champagne glasses, carefree joy that made me want to throw my phone across the room. And then I saw him. In the corner of a photo, she leaned on him, laughing in a way I had once thought belonged only to me. His arm draped casually around her shoulder, a look in her eyes that said everything without a word. Desire, excitement, intimacy. I couldn't move. Not yet. I didn't want a confrontation over text or phone call. I wanted raw truth. So I stayed home, pretending work kept me busy, staring blankly at the ceiling while my heart quietly shattered. Each laugh, each glass, each glance in the photos hammered into me the reality that she had reshaped my world without me. By the time she returned late Sunday night, the house smelled faintly of her perfume again, but sharp now, laced with betrayal. I sat in the living room, dim lights casting shadows, pretending to scroll through my phone. She walked in humming, carefree, arms full of souvenirs, laughing at something trivial her friend said. She didn't notice the silence. "Hey, I missed you," she said brightly, dropping her bags and stretching like she was home. "Sorry I left the ring behind. Slipped my mind. Can you believe it?" She laughed, as if it were funny. But I looked at her, really looked, and saw the careless sparkle in her eyes, the same one that had once been mine. "I saw your pictures," I said quietly, voice trembling just enough to betray the anger beneath. Her smile faltered. "Oh, those? It was just the girls," she began, but the words faltered midair. I held up the ring. "This is just a trinket to you?" I let the silence stretch. "You leave it behind, and now I'm supposed to feel grateful?" Her face paled. For a moment, I thought I saw guilt, or maybe just recognition that the consequences had finally caught up with her. "Azza, it's not what you think," she said, voice weak. "Not what I think." I repeated, my voice rising despite my effort to stay calm. "I saw you laughing with him. I saw the pictures. And somehow it's still not what I think?" She stepped back, defensiveness creeping in. It was, I don't know. I needed space. A break. Nothing serious. You know how stressful work's been. I laughed, sharp and bitter. "A break? You call a weekend of lying, flirting, and leaving your ring behind a break?" My chest ached as the weight of betrayal sank in. How much I had trusted her, how much of my life I had built around someone who didn't deserve it. Please, don't make this bigger than it is, she pleaded. I shook my head slowly. The decision had crystallized. This wasn't about anger or revenge. It was survival, dignity, walking away from a life that was no longer mine. You know, I said softly, almost a whisper, sometimes the hardest thing isn't leaving someone who loves you. It's leaving someone you once loved, who didn't love you back the way you thought. Her mouth opened, but no words came. She looked small suddenly, diminished by the realization that the game was over. I walked past her slowly, deliberately calm, each step heavier than the last, each one reclaiming a piece of myself lost in the shadow of her deceit. I paused at the door, gathering coat and keys. Aza, wait, please. We can work this out, she called, voice trembling. I turned fully to meet her eyes, the ones that once felt like home. No, I said simply. I can't. You made your choices. I'm making mine. She reached toward me, hands shaking, but I stepped back. Nothing left to hold. I left the house quietly. The door clicked shut, like a final punctuation mark. I didn't look back. Empty streets stretched before me, early morning light casting long shadows. I walked without direction at first, letting the silence envelop me, letting the grief settle into something bearable. For the first time in months, I felt the weight of freedom pressing against my shoulders. Heavy, bittersweet, necessary. That night, I found a small motel room, flickering neon lights, a stiff bed. I sat on the edge, her ring still in my pocket. I didn't throw it, didn't smash it. I held it, turning it over, letting myself grieve. Not for her, not even for the marriage, but for the life I had imagined, the person I had loved, and the trust that could never be rebuilt. Sleep came fitfully, shallow, filled with fragmented memories of laughter and whispered promises. But for the first time, I felt clarity. The clarity of someone who had seen the truth and chose to live by it. The clarity of someone who could move forward without betrayal weighing them down. Weeks passed. I didn't call, didn't check, didn't allow myself to be dragged into her mess. I focused on work, on friends who still mattered, and on the small, quiet routines that reminded me I could exist without her shadow. Eventually, I found myself smiling, not because the pain vanished, not because I had forgotten her, but because I had chosen myself. I had left a life of illusion for one of reality. In that choice, I reclaimed the part of me that mattered most. Her ring stayed in my pocket for months, a quiet reminder of what I lost, endured, and refused to compromise. One night, I slipped it into a small box, sealed it, and placed it in a drawer, out of sight, but never out of memory. A symbol not of love, but of survival. I never went back, never looked for her. She never sought me. And in that quiet absence, I discovered something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. I had loved. I had been betrayed. I had hurt, but I had chosen myself. And in that choice, I realized the true beginning of being.